Welcome on into the sports news. We are going to cover a lot of ground today, including, of course, high school football playoffs. We also have some hockey talk, some lacrosse talk, and a curse that's been broken. We'll talk about that as well. But first up, it's the headlines. They are powered by the Red Zone over on Regent Street and Conan Automotive in Stoughton. Headlines next here on the sports news on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. Hockey season finally back in full swing, and the Madison Capitals were on home ice for 2 games this past weekend. In fact, we bring in a forward now who had his first goal as a Capital on Friday night, and that's Noah Weber of the Madison Capitals. And Noah, welcome on in. Tell us, your first season with the Caps, how's it going for you so far?
It's going really good. I like the atmosphere. You know, it's always good to be in Madison. It's a great town, great hockey town. We're competing with the Badgers a little bit, but we get great support. I love it. Good coaches, good teammates. It's just going really well.
Oh, great. And, you know, you got that first goal, and that's always a big one to get out of the way. Tell us, how did you tally that one on Friday night?
Well, I came across the blue line. We came out on a bit of 3-on-2, odd man rush, and I threw one on net. It bounced off the goalie's pad, and Marcel Godbout actually threw a between the legs pass in the slot, and I just, you know, that was wide open, so.
Yeah, it was pretty. You got to be one of the stars of the game. That was cool as well. And you also get to play kind of on home ice. You're a Wisconsin native, so what does that mean to be playing in your home state?
It means a lot. It was great to be drafted by them. You know, as soon as I saw my name up there, I was really excited because who doesn't want to be playing in Wisconsin in your hometown? It's always fun.
Yeah, and you also get to play for a family that's kind of legendary in Wisconsin and in Madison, and that's the Souters. And so Gary Suter is your head coach. What's it like to play for him and to play for the Suter brand?
Yeah, it's always a hard-nosed atmosphere. So whether it's practice, you know, workout, whatever it is, we're always going hard, and I love it. You know, he's a good guy. He's a good coach. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, you know, what type of coach would you kind of describe him as? I mean, it seems like he's not afraid to work you guys, maybe even bag you too.
Yeah, maybe for an example, after last night's game, we stayed on the ice afterwards and skated a little bit, but you know, it's all part of the game. So he's definitely a hard-nosed coach. He wants us to outwork every team all the time, and it's a good way to work. It's a good way to coach.
You talk about wanting to outwork people. How about personally for your own growth and outworking people? What are some of your goals this season?
I'd just like to make a Clark Cup run and hopefully grow as a team, grow as a player, and just get better every day.
Now in the locker room, there's always a dynamic that goes on team-wise. Who are some of the leaders in the Caps locker room?
Definitely Marcel Godbout, Robbie Fosdick, Eugene Fadeev. They're all big-time leaders. They're vocal, but mainly they lead by example. So you watch them, you know what you're gonna do. You know what you got. You know what you have to do.
How about some of the guys that keep it loose, the jokesters?
Probably Daniel Lebedeff, our goalie. He's always having fun. Before the game, he gets pretty serious, but again, Eugene's pretty laid back and. He'll joke around with you before the game, but he always gets down to business when it's time.
Lebedeff, I usually don't associate the Finnish people with a sense of humor, but okay, we'll take it. Noah, thanks for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car.
Great time to be outside and running in the fall. I tell you, some of the most beautiful weather to run in. And we're going to talk some running right now, cross country, as we bring in the head coach at Madison Memorial, and that's Casey Hopp. And Casey, welcome on into the show. If you could, give us a recap. How has the season gone so far? What are some of the highlights for you?
Sure, thanks for having me. Coming off our 7th place finish at state last year, we're really looking for a big season this year. And unfortunately, we had some injuries and had some ups and downs throughout the year, but really started to get healthy at the end of the year. We finished 3rd place at the city championships and had 2 runners on the all-city team in Luke Vandermeer and Casey Gregorich-Trevor. And then went and finished 4th at the Big 8 meet where there were 6 boys teams who were ranked in the state. So that 4th place finish was pretty impressive. And Luke Vandermeer and Jonas Beets earned all conference honors there for us. And then yesterday we went to the sectional meet and we just missed out on making it to the state tournament again. losing to Madison West, who's currently ranked #1 in the state, and Middleton, who started this season off as #1 ranked team. But we got 3 individuals through to state, first time in team history, and just missed out on getting a 4th through, which would have been a Division I and boys record, getting 4 individuals to state. But we'll have Luke Vandermeer, Joel Foster, and Jonas Beets representing Madison Memorial at the state meet next week.
Excellent. What do you think that they can expect going into that tournament? There's a lot of talent there.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent there, and running against the competition that we've seen in this area in the Big 8 Conference, those guys will really be prepared for the meet. This will be the 2nd year for Luke Vandermeer and Jonas Beets competing there, and then Joel will be competing in his first state championships, and so those guys will be ready, trying to get out there and see if they can earn some all-state honors with their performances.
Speaking of talent, it seems like the Big 8 Conference is a hotbed for talent. Why do you think that is? Why is there so much talent in the Big 8?
You know, we've got some really great coaches in the area, and we got a lot of teams that have some big teams, and when you have a lot of runners going out there and competing hard against each other week in and week out, you know, the talent's going to rise to the top in that. And so, you know, as I mentioned, we had 6 boys teams ranked in the state this year in that, and some really great individuals that have a chance to be on the podium at the state meet. And so competing against those guys week in and week out, you really see that talent just shine each week.
You know, running ain't easy, so why would someone want to, you know, take that on and say, I want to be a long distance runner and join into cross country?
Yeah, you know, I think there's a lot of camaraderie in cross country. Everybody's training for the same event. You know, they're all training for 5,000 meters, and so they all know what kind of hard work goes into it and the struggle for it. But you learn a lot of discipline, you learn a lot about yourself as an individual, because each day when you're out there running, it's really just you that can make the choices on how you're going to improve in that. And so we see a lot of growth in our young men as they go throughout the season. I think they learn a lot about themselves individually, not only as runners, but what they can accomplish throughout their whole life.
Absolutely. Good luck to your individuals at state. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics.
Welcome back to the Sports News. A special treat for you today. We've got Dominique Wilkins joining us. And Dominique, we're so pleased to have you today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, lots going on for you. Obviously, you're joining the 2016 class as an inductee into the College Basketball Hall of Fame, a superstar, of course, and we are so excited to have you today. We're going to talk about a few things. Obviously, basketball season is about to be underway, which is very exciting. But part of your mission is to help others manage diabetes, as you have been on a personal journey ever since you were diagnosed. So we're going to touch on that in a minute. First, of course, we're going to talk to you a little bit about all of the honors you've had throughout the years. This is incredible. What is it like to be a part of the National Collegiate Hall of Fame?
It's a special honor because it lets you know the mark you left on college basketball, and now the powers that be that appreciate that and recognize, you know, your greatness. So I'm thrilled to be a part of this class, and particularly going in with my college coach, Hugh Durham.
And you're gearing up now, Dominique, for the fall fitness season. So talk to us a little bit about that. What are you doing these days to stay active?
Well, I think the thing that I'm most excited about is the partnership with Novo Nordisk and building this Diabetes Dream Team program. And so it helps keep me fit and find different options as far as diet, exercise, and medication to make sure I stay, hold myself accountable, I should say. So it's been a great structure that we've put in place. It also helped me with building a better relationship with my physician. So when my pill is not getting me to my goal, we are able to put together a treatment plan that works for me. So we encourage people every day to push themselves and have a lot of confidence in themselves and building a better relationship with their physician and building a treatment plan that works for them. So that's why the diabetesdreamteam.com website is so important, because what it does is you can go on and build a portfolio of your health, but more importantly, you can download the diabetes clipboard, which is a coach's clipboard that will give you insider information on how you build your own dream team and how you get information from the healthcare professionals and experts that I've dealt with. So I encourage people to definitely go to that website. If you're dealing with diabetes or somebody you know dealing with diabetes, send them to this website.
What a wonderful resource, like you said, for folks who are learning to cope with diabetes and deal with it in their own terms. And that specialization, that individualization, I think is really important. So if you would touch on your personal journey through the years and being diagnosed with diabetes, what has that been like?
Well, I found out I was diabetes when I turned 40 a year after I retired, so it was an eye-opening experience for me because diabetes runs in my family, but I never thought I'd be affected by it. So when I was affected, I said, look, I have to do something about this. I have to educate people so this don't happen to anybody in my family, or at least they'll be aware if they have a problem, how to treat it.
And let's further touch on the Diabetes Dream Team. And with your experiences and your personal health, what is your role with the Diabetes Dream Team now?
Well, my role is pretty simple, is to continue to educate people through our website and constantly or push and encourage people to go to that clipboard so they can pull off some of the information that they can use and build their own dream team. And what is the dream team? It's your supporting cast. People that care about you, either within your neighborhood, your family, your friends, your doctor, your trainer, people that will help you stay compliant, help you manage your disease the right way. But more important, the team that don't let you slip when it seems like everything is all lost, that those people can reel you back in and keep you from making that mistake on a constant basis. So it's all about being consistent and really taking responsibility for your own disease. So this is our mission, this is my mission, is continue to educate people. That's why we're here today.
Excellent. And on top of that education, any final words, notes, encouragement, or words of advice for viewers at home who are maybe getting diagnosed with the disease, in recent times, weeks, months? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the most important thing is that the people look at this not as a curse, but more as an obstacle in the road that you go over around. You can't sit back and sulk and be upset or depressed because things in life don't go your way. This is just one of those things that happen in life. Is just a bump in the road, and the thing is how do I deal with that? Well, I deal with that through diet, exercise, and medication. It's that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations to you on, of course, staying active and being such an integral part of the Diabetes Dream Team. We encourage viewers out there to seek help and support through some of these resources. Really wonderful, Dominique. And of course, we want to congratulate you on such an incredible national honor, being inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame. What a pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's it for this interview. Dominique Wilkins, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with more sports news after the break.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car.
We've had a chance on the sports news here to talk about one of the faster growing sports in Wisconsin a few times, and I always love when we get a chance to talk a little lacrosse. And right now we get to bring in Tim Leung, who is with the Wisconsin Lacrosse Officials Association, and also MELA, the Madison Area Lacrosse Association. And Tim, if you could, talk to us a little bit about your role in lacrosse in the area.
Well, Rich, my role with lacrosse in the area, right now I do a lot of helping out. I'm an official, so I get to referee a lot of the games, both in the high school levels and the youth levels here in Madison, not just Madison, but across the state of Wisconsin. But also with MELA, the Madison Area Lacrosse Association, I do help their board of directors out with doing some website stuff. That's madlax.org if you want to go and check that out.
I mentioned the growth of the sport, and it's really something that, caught on big time on the East Coast and now seems to be shifting as we go across the country here. If you could talk about the growth of the sport specifically in Wisconsin.
So I would say in the last 10 years or so, I've been involved in the last 6, but certainly in the last 10 years, this sport has grown quite a bit. You're right, absolutely, it started out on the East Coast, but as we get people coming from the East Coast, a lot of parents pass the sport on to their kids, the kids pass their sport on to their friends, and we have a lot of opportunities for teams. And it's really kind of interesting because some of the teams and some of the games and some of the number of players kind of creates this opportunity for more parents and more adults to get involved. And what we really want to try to do is we want to try to get more adults involved, adults and high school kids, either as officials, which I certainly represent, but also as parents to do coaching as well. So it's really tough if you have 20 kids who want to play the game but don't have any adult supervision, don't have any coaches who can go with that, or if they don't have any officials who can officiate the sport either.
Well, if you could talk about some of the ways that people can get involved, because I think sometimes they just don't know where to start. Like, how do I get involved in this sport that hasn't been traditionally popular sport but has been growing a lot? Where do they start, Tim?
So you can start by checking us out at madlocks.org, but you can start with whatever you enjoy. So maybe you have a child who likes to start playing. You can come on as an assistant coach, and it doesn't mean you need to know everything about the sport. You can be there and you can just learn under a head coach who has been with the sport for a while. Nowadays versus when I started doing lacrosse, which is back in the mid-90s, there's so much more with the internet and with YouTube. You can watch lacrosse games online just about, well, pretty much at any time. You can look at how coaches and officials do things. So from a coaching standpoint, it's really easy to get started. From an official standpoint, we certainly encourage you to get in touch with one of us to do officials, to be an official as well. We have boys games and girls games in the area. We're an equal opportunity employer. We do have men doing the girls games. We do have women doing the boys games as well. It's important that you're willing to learn about the sport. There's no need to know about the sport before you get started. Just learning about the sport, being ready to learn, being willing to hustle. You don't have to be, the Flash or Supergirl or anything on the field, but it's important to hustle and get yourself in position to make the right calls.
Check out the contact info on the bottom third. It's going along right along there. Tim, great job. Thanks for being on the Sports News.
No, thanks for having us, Rich.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics.
Welcome back to the Sports News. I'm Ellen Barrett, and with us today we have MadisonBusTrips.com, Aaron Rainey. Thank you for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So we've heard about your organization before on Wisconsin Family, and we're so excited to have you on the show today to talk about some of your upcoming sports trips. First off, let's start off with the most recent trip that's going to be coming up here in November.
We got Warriors versus Bucks, of course, at the Bradley Center. Steph Curry and the gang going to be heading up to the Bradley Center, so it's going to be a great trip for us.
Now, why is this trip in particular going to be so much fun? I mean, I can imagine here with the Golden State Warriors, obviously Steph Curry getting a lot of buzz, but the Bucks too.
Yeah, we got Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors now too, so it's a big team coming in. And I tell you what, our trips are stress-free. It's one of those things where you jump on the bus, you bring your cooler, have a good time on the bus. We take care of the tickets, the parking, everything's covered. You get on the bus and have a great trip.
And I'm particularly pumped up because it sounds like I might get to come with on some of these trips and help be that chaperone, make sure no funny business is going on, but still a lot of fun to be had.
Or you might add to the funny business, who knows?
Hey, you never know. You have to come on the trip to find out, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's also talk about some other upcoming trips because we've got a lot of cool stuff coming up in December and even stuff planned for March already.
Yeah, we got lots of stuff planned and we're going to continually progress. So if you want to check out our website, MadisonBusTrips.com, we're always going to be adding new trips as we progress. We got Bears-Packers at Soldier Field on December 18th. And we also got another one of our basketball bus trips, the Cavs versus the Bucks on December 20th. Might make a great Christmas present for that
good idea.
Cavs or Bucks fan in your life.
Awesome, and I always want to talk about too, obviously this is something where you can go have a ton of fun with your friends, you can bring your friends with you, but it also is really family friendly, it sounds like.
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, all of our trips are family friendly. We do send an escort on every bus,
right.
And that's just, we want everybody to have fun, whether you're the guy drinking a lot or you're the guy that's bringing your 5-year-old son on the bus. We want everybody to have a great time. So, we try to keep it median and, usually it's a short trip up to Milwaukee, but sometimes we'll play movies or whatever the case is. So it's definitely just want everybody to have a great time is the bottom line. So that's why we do send the escort on every bus.
Absolutely, and I do want to share kind of an insider tip here. If people do go follow you and like you on Facebook, you guys give away tickets and give away stuff pretty frequently. Where can people go follow you?
We're right on Facebook at MadisonBusTrips.com. We're
Awesome.
also part of Midwest Bus Trips, which is our parent company. So not too long ago, we gave away some Wisconsin Badgers and Iowa Hawkeye tickets, football game at Kinnick Stadium. So just check out our Facebook page. We're always giving away stuff on there.
Awesome. Again, Aaron Rainey with Midwest Bus Trips and MadisonBusTrips.com. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back with more sports news right after this.
Weather's starting to change a little bit, and it's feeling more and more like hockey season. And I tell you what, That's a good thing. As we go back to the ice, as Ben Cowan is here from On Ice Promotions in the Oregon Ice Arena. And Ben, first of all, welcome in. And if you could talk about with the hockey season starting up now, what does that mean for you guys out there?
Well, thanks for having me again, Rich. Yeah, hockey season starting. So we've had tryouts. All the youth hockey teams have pretty much been picked at this point. Youth hockey games will really start kicking up here this first weekend of November, which definitely as a rink is really exciting for us. Start seeing more and more people and just exposing the area to what's new at the Oregon Ice Arena, which we'll talk about in a second. But I guess some things just really quick about hockey since people are actually watching this, which is nice. So parents, okay, and this is a tough one, all right, but at the Oregon Ice Arena, we're gonna institute a new policy this year. Okay, it's like a no tolerance policy, we'll say. So try to stop yelling at the referees, okay? Stop yelling at the coaches, stop yelling at your kids. Just sit there, clap your hands, cheer when they do something good. Really important reason for this is right now in Dane County especially, we're losing referees. So for those of you who know how refereeing works, if you don't have a ref, okay, you can't play a game. So if we don't stop like badgering the referees, we're not gonna be able to play games. USA Hockey won't sanction them, and then our kids are just gonna play pickup and kind of season's kind of done.
Yeah, that's actually really good stuff and good advice, and you see it so much. And it's hard for parents sometimes to do because they're so emotionally involved, but definitely something that they need to do. So good stuff right there. So we'll switch from there, and you wanted to talk a little bit about what's new with On Ice Promotions. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so OIP, I mean, we have a lot going on always. But really right now, kind of going back to that, the parent stuff is we want to really get the coaches engaged in really what's happening. So we're starting the Coaches Club. So we've talked to WAHA, which is the Wisconsin Amateur Hockey Association. And right now we're working on doing a prototype here in Dane County, which hopefully our Coaches Club will be more youth hockey based. We'll have speakers, we'll have presentations, we'll increase the communication that goes on between WAHA, USA Hockey, and our coaches, which will then stem into the parents and kids. So hopefully we're trying to develop this here, and then eventually this will expand out through the state. Every region will have their own coaches club, which will only make our players, ultimately better.
Very cool. Now that it's busier and hockey season has started, we got about 20 seconds. Tell us about the restaurant out at the rink.
Yeah, so this is kind of a fun one for us. So we've wanted it for a while. Finally got it installed. We got the grill, fryers. I have a food manager who's an amazing chef, and we're getting it going. So it's Polly's Grill and Cafe, burgers, pizza, French fries, and really we just want to make the experience when you come to our rink just better.
Good stuff as always. Ben, thanks a lot for coming on. Good advice this week as well. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Rich.
Hey, a big thank you to all of our guests for coming on today, and of course to all of our sponsors as well, especially the Red Zone over on Regent Street, Rick and all the boys, and Conant Automotive down in Stoughton for keeping us on the air for such a long time. We appreciate it, and a big thank you for watching to you as well. We'll see you next time on the Sports News on Wisconsin's 57 Sports.